Hi everybody, it's Christina. Today I'm excited to share with you my reading goals for 2025. First, I'll be giving a quick recap of my 2024 reading goals and how I did because those will blend into my goals for next year. So let's go ahead and get started right away. In 2024, I set my Goodreads goal to 25 books. It is December 29th as I'm filming this and I'm at 43 books, so I definitely accomplished that quite easily. My second goal was combo with reading and a few other things. I wanted to buy all of my books, jigsaw puzzles, and home decor secondhand, and I accomplished this as well. I got all of my books and puzzles either secondhand at the thrift store, library sales, etc., or I checked them out from the library, so that was a huge success. And then my third goal was to get my TBR shelf to 0. And what I meant by this goal is I wanted all of the unread books that existed on my shelf on January 1st of 2024 to be either read or decluttered by the end of the year. And I've done pretty well with this. There are 2 books that I haven't yet read, The Hobbit and then Justin Timberlake's book. And as I mentioned in my video where I shared with you all of my unread books, I'm not sure I'm going to read those, but they won't be decluttered from my home. Otherwise, I succeeded in this goal and I'm really happy with my progress for 2024. So in 2025, I'm going to be a little bit more structured with my goals. I have 5 goals and the first one is the big one, and that's read 100 books. I've always wanted to be somebody who reads 100 books in a year, and the closest I ever got was in 2019 when I read 68 books. But during that time, I read a lot of YA, and I also had built-in reading time of about 2 to 3 hours every single weekday because I commuted to work on the bus. So nowadays, I'm reading a lot of lit fic, which takes a bit longer to read, and I also only have about 40 minutes of reading time built into every weekday. So I have to be really intentional with my spare time to make this goal happen. That being said, if I stop doom scrolling on Instagram and using my phone for extra hours every single day, I will easily be able to accomplish this goal. My next goal is I would like to buy all of my books used again, except for 5, which I'm allowed to buy new. The reason for this is because there were a few times throughout 2024 where I heard about a book on YouTube, probably, and they weren't available from my library and I couldn't find them used anywhere either. I know one of them was from a university press. I couldn't find that used. A couple of them were newer releases, etc. And so I'm going to allow myself to buy 5 brand new books. Otherwise, all of the books that I buy have to be used or from the library, of course. My next goal is I want to read 4 Stephen King books. So if you've followed me on Bookstagram for a while, you'll know that I am reading all of Stephen King's books in chronological publishing order. And this year in 2024, I only read 2, which I think partly was because I did not like The Gunslinger at all, and that put me in a sour Stephen King mood. So this year, I want to regroup and read 4 Stephen King books, 1 a season. I think that makes sense. It's very doable, and that will keep me on pace to continue on that reading project. Similarly, this year I want to reread at least 5 books. In 2024, I only reread 1 book, and that was disappointing because I love to reread books. In fact, a few years ago, I did a reading project called the My Year of Rereading, where I focused primarily on rereading books on my shelves, and I absolutely loved that experience. So I would definitely like to make rereading a core part of my reading experience, but in order to make this easily achievable without feeling bogged down, I'm going to say at least 5 books to reread. That's very doable. And then my last goal for 2025 is I want to keep my physical TBR to 5 books or less. For me, I have found that having a small TBR works really well. I think primarily because I am a library user, so I read a ton of books from the library, and if I have a huge pile of unread books at home, it doesn't really make a lot of sense for me. but I also really feel most excited to read a book when I first bring it into my home. So what I would love to do is buy a few books, read those books, buy a few more books, read those books, and so on and so forth. And that way my physical TBR will be at a level that I am personally comfortable with. And as I mentioned in my video where I shared with you all of my unread books, this number doesn't include my Stephen King collection and my Rick Riordan books, but otherwise, if I own a book physically, it's on the TBR. But that's everything in terms of my 2025 reading goals. I'm really looking forward to my reading in 2025. I didn't make any YouTube goals because these videos are just going to happen when I have the time. But I do hope to share with you my recently read books, hopefully on a weekly basis. And if there's any other videos that you're interested in seeing, let me know and I'll try to make that happen as well. That's it for now, though. Happy New Year. I hope you all have a very prosperous, happy, and healthy 2025. Bye.